Neither the United States nor Europe even have conventional ones, but Russia is already putting into operation combat icebreakers. The world's only combat icebreaker of the Russian Navy, Papanin, was first demonstrated from the inside. Its arrangement is striking in its high-tech nature. Meanwhile, the United States, which is fighting for influence in the Arctic, cannot boast of such a ship. What is unique about the combat icebreaker Papanin? Let's figure it out. Russia has not built combat icebreakers before. The development of the 23550 project is being carried out by the Almaz Central Design Bureau. In addition to the combat icebreaker Papanin, 3 more ships are being built as part of the creation of the icebreaker fleet. But let's take a closer look at what has just been released. The ship is 114.5 meters long, 19.5 meters wide, and has a displacement of 8,500 tons. The icebreaker can accommodate up to 110 people, 60 permanent crew, and 50 additional sailors. The internal arrangement of the vessel is carried out at the highest level. The cabins are as comfortable as possible for the stay of sailors. The ship has a gym, sauna, swimming pool, and other recreational facilities. And the crew is carefully prepared for service on a ship that has no analogs in the world. As the chief builder of the surface shipbuilding department said, I quote, "This is a multi-purpose ship. The main task initially, when it was designed, was to protect the water economic resources of the Arctic zone. The ship is armed with an AK-176 MA artillery system, 8 man pads. There is a multi-purpose helicopter base and a hangar for drones. There is also a reserved place for the launcher. Probably we are talking about the Caliber. The ship is really unique. Various latest developments have been implemented here, all of domestic production, no foreign mechanisms. Thanks to its sturdy hull, the vessel can break ice up to 1 meter and 70 centimeters thick. The icebreaker must be tested by the end of this year, after which it will become part of the fleet and begin to perform its tasks. And let's see what the United States has. Well, for the sake of interest, the United States has a combat icebreaker, but this is only at first glance. To be honest, this ship is very old. The Polar Star icebreaker was built back in 1976. The total engine power is 78,000 horsepower. Displacement is 12,000 tons. It is capable of breaking ice up to 2 meters. But in fact, the icebreaker is extremely bad. It was even decommissioned for 5 years from 2007 to 2012. Only after a thorough repair, it still had to be sent sailing for lack of another one. It looks like the US icebreaker was decommissioned in 2010. Today, Polar Star is valid only on paper. In fact, the ship should have been decommissioned long ago. During the last trip to the Arctic, the icebreaker revealed a whole bunch of problems, which made it necessary to urgently take it to its home port. So far, the Americans do not have icebreakers, so they cannot climb into the Arctic. Although the United States is developing a new Polar Sentinel icebreaker, but this is still just a development. And all this is still in the plans, and today Russia is, in fact, the only country in the world that has an icebreaker fleet. Let's move on to another icebreaker now. What has become known about the lead icebreaker of the Leader project? The construction of the promising icebreaker of the Leader project started in the summer of 2020. It is expected that the lead nuclear-powered vessel will be put into operation in the coming years. As a result of the latest technologies and developments of Russian engineers, it will open a new page in the history of the fleet and determine the future of the Northern Sea Route and the development of the Arctic. Recently, new information about this project has appeared. Recall that the construction of the icebreaker project 10,510 Leader is underway at the largest shipyard in Russia of the Far Eastern Zvezda complex. The commissioning is scheduled for 2027. Due to the fact that the main task of the new icebreaker will be year-round operation on the Northern Sea Route to ensure navigation and wiring of ships, special requirements are imposed on its technical characteristics. According to the terms of reference, it will have the following characteristics: length 209 meters, width 47 meters 70 centimeters, displacement 71,000 tons, maximum speed 22 knots, draft 13 meters, maximum thickness of ice passage 4 meters 30 centimeters, crew size 130 people, autonomy of the vessel in terms of provisions for 8 months. The displacement of the icebreaker Leader is greater than that of some Western aircraft carriers. So, the British aircraft carrier Queen Elizabeth has a little more than 70,000 tons with a length of 284 meters, and the flagship of the French fleet Charles de Gaulle has 42,000 tons. It is known that the nuclear-powered vessel of the 10510 Leader project will be equipped with 2 new Rhythm 400 reactors, which are 1.8 times more powerful than the Rhythm 200 reactors installed on the universal nuclear icebreakers of the 22220 Chukotka and Yakutia project. In addition, 4 turbines and 4 rowing electric motors will be installed on it. As a result, the icebreaker's power plants will have a capacity of 120 megawatts. This will be enough to overcome ice with a thickness of more than 4 meters at a speed of 2 knots, and 2-meter ice with a speed of up to 12 knots. And here a reasonable question arises: why do we need an icebreaker of such power? If even without it, it was recently announced that this year the 100-year-old dream of Russian polar explorers will be fulfilled. Year-round navigation will open. The need to build a new icebreaker is related to the development strategy of the Northern Sea route. As you know, the NSR still has a problem with the wiring of vessels with a displacement of more than 100,000 tons and a width of more than 40 meters. This is no longer the lot of the existing Project 222.20 and older Soviet icebreakers. The new icebreaker will open up the possibility for conducting large tonnage vessels in the Arctic, as it will lay a channel in the ice up to 50 meters wide. This will allow ships with a width of up to 40 meters and deadweights of up to 100,000 tons, and according to some estimates up to 200,000 tons. In particular, it will ensure the delivery of LNG by the only Yamal-Max-class gas tankers of their kind, which are capable of operating in harsh Arctic conditions. The icebreaker leader in recent history is an icebreaker primarily for direct access to the markets of the Asia-Pacific countries. Therefore, in fact, the question of the leader is the question of Russia's place in the liquefied natural gas market. Establishing a maritime transport line through the Arctic seas is a very time-consuming job, and in order to deal with the accumulation of ice in the most difficult areas, an icebreaker of Project 10,510 liter will be needed. They plan to build 3 such giants. It becomes clear that we are talking about the possibility of conducting the largest vessels of the post-Panamax and Capesize class, whose displacement can reach 200,000 tons. But still, first of all, such a need is created exclusively by the Russian class of ships, which will soon appear on this route, and which are planned to be built in an amount of at least 15 units to begin with. Russia is the only country in the world that has nuclear icebreakers, and today they are successfully operating on the NSR. And the new icebreakers, among which the leader stands out, will definitely strengthen the Russian position in this difficult region from the point of view of climatic conditions. Well, let's also see what news in the icebreaking topic took place this year. So, in the Nizhny Novgorod region, they began to make anchors for new icebreakers. The Bor Metallurgical and Mechanical Engineering Plant METMASH successfully tested the casting of the first batch of hull anchors weighing 10 tons. It is designed for the construction of the largest and most powerful nuclear icebreakers of type 222-20. The blanks of the first batch will be machined in the workshop, and after control tests they will be shipped to the Baltic shipyard for the new generation icebreaker Yakutia. The second batch of 3 anchors for the icebreaker Chukotka is planned to be delivered in the second quarter of 2024. Troops are entering the universal nuclear icebreaker Yakutia, which is being built according to the project of the Iceberg Central Design Bureau at the Baltic plant, and the installation of shaft pipelines is being completed. Here's what experts tell us about the features of shaft pipelines. With the help of these pipelines, the mushroom screws of the world's most powerful nuclear icebreakers of the 22220 project are set in motion. The pipeline is one of the key ship complexes. It transmits the torque from the engine to the mushroom screw and the thrust from the screw to the hull, ensuring the movement of the vessel. The new shaft lines surpass the shaft lines on icebreakers of previous projects in their dimensions and weight, since they must propel very large vessels. With the help of specialists from the Krylov Center, it was possible to calculate the optimal shaft diameter, which made it possible to almost have the weight of the products. The installation of reactors on the icebreaker Chukotka has been completed. The technological process of loading and installation of the second RITM-200 reactor on the icebreaker Chukotka project 102220 has been completed. The RITM-200 is a new reactor plant developed by the Afrikantoff Design Bureau for the icebreaker fleet and is part of the icebreaker's main power plant, and includes 2 reactors on the left and right sides of the vessel with a thermal capacity of 175 megawatts each. The weight of the block is 147.5 tons. The height is 7 meters 30 centimeters. The diameter is 3 meters 30 centimeters. The main advantage of the new power plant is its compactness and economy. It has a unique, energy-efficient integrated layout, which ensures the placement of the main equipment directly inside the body of the steam generating unit. The total thermal capacity is 350 megawatts. The reactor's service life is 40 years, and the unique design makes it possible to make the icebreakers of the 222-20 Project 2-stage, providing improved technical characteristics. The vessel is ice-fast. The Universal Nuclear Icebreaker Chukotka is the 5th vessel of the 222-20 project, which is being built at the Baltic plant by order of FSUE Atomflot. It was laid down in December 2020. The Leningrad nuclear icebreaker was laid at the Baltic plant in St. Petersburg. The construction of nuclear-powered ships Yakutia and Chukotka is also underway at the Baltic plant. These are the largest and most powerful nuclear icebreakers in the world at the moment. Let me remind you that the leader is still being built. The design of the vessels allows them to be used both in Arctic waters and in the mouths of polar rivers, and all year round. And the thickness of the ice flow, which can overcome the vessel, is almost 3 meters. The icebreaker Epity Kalavrat, built according to the 21180M project by the Almaz Shipbuilding Company for the Pacific Fleet, has entered test inspections of the flight support system for deck helicopters. The event is held as part of the state tests in the waters of the Avicha Bay. Currently, the icebreaker is undergoing the final stage of state tests, after which it is planned to be commissioned into the Pacific Fleet. It should be noted that after commissioning, the main tasks of the Evpatia Kalavrat icebreaker, in addition to delivering cargo to remote horizons, will be the wiring of warships in ice conditions, transportation of teams, and hydrographic work.